Hi everybody, this is Jove. You are following the test-driven development screencast. In the last episode, we realized that whenever we are trying to fetch the friends list, we are also including the account that was just created, meaning that whenever we create an account and we navigate to the friends list, the account that we have just created is gonna be included in the list of the friends that we fetched. Now, I added a little consideration for this episode whether that should be the case or not. Now, I've came with a conclusion that I should actually not include that account in the list, because later on I'll be able to also include another section, completely different section inside the application that's going to be named, let's say, a profile, where we'll be able to see ourselves, our current profile, which is the actual account, and then we will see more details about ourselves in there. So in that case, I don't need to include this account in the list, and also these particular accounts that I'm gonna be seeing, these particular friends that I'll see in the friends list, I'll be able to open in details and see their details as well as mine. So for now, I think I'm gonna just exclude that account from the friends list, and we'll see how that's gonna go. Now I'll switch to the code, and here in our to-do list, the first thing that I have here is consider filtering out ourselves when fetching the friends list. So what I'm gonna be doing now is I'll update the business logic, and then when I update the business logic and remove this ignore here, this test will continue to work, because right now whenever if I have no friends, if I open the friends list, it includes the account that was just created. That's why this test fails and it's ignored hence. So let's go ahead and see how we are gonna do that. So I'll open the load friends test, and here we have a few tests. So here we can also write a test where we will say exclude let's see how we are gonna name this. What happens when I loaded multiple friends excluding signed up user. So assert equals, let's say here we are gonna have a friends state loaded, and then I'm gonna have a list of friend Anna, friend Sarah, that's gonna be my view model friend state value. Let's go ahead and create this view model. The view model is going to be my friends view model, and then the action is going to be view model, come on, load friends let's say Tom ID, and maybe just to make it less complicated, because I don't really need this, let's say this is going to be an empty list. right? Because I wouldn't have to also bother with the fellowships. So I'm just gonna create a test that I'll load. I'll try to load friends for Tom, and the only account that I'm gonna have in my user catalog is gonna be Tom itself. So Tom should be excluded. So that's the goal. So here I'll say friends repository with user catalog, and also I need this dispatchers. So user catalog is going to be an in-memory user catalog, where I'm gonna have users for password as a mutable map of irrelevant, and then a mutable list of Tom. Here I should use 2, something like this. So now I have a catalog which includes only Tom as an account inside, which means when I create an account, I'm having this Tom. Let's say I'm creating an account with Tom, and then I'm trying to fetch friends for Tom. Tom should be excluded. Let's then run my micro tests, and this test should fail. I expect it to fail, saying that I expect an empty list, but Tom is. Here it is. So I am expecting empty list, but actually Tom is included. So how do we fix this? How do we make this work? This expectation. If I just go into my in-memory user catalog, and I go here, which is load friends 4, then here first I'll filter ID being different than the user ID that comes in, and then mul. Now if I run, it should work. And it does. So one thing here, what I've done is I'm changing here the in-memory user catalog, and I still don't have tests for this test double. So this, we have to understand. In-memory user catalog is actually a user catalog that is a test double. This test double is gonna live only in my, it is supposed to serve only my tests. So out of this test double, I'll be able to emerge contract tests, and then from those contract tests, I'll be able to create implementations that are gonna work with real, let's say, real external system, be it database, be it web service, whatever. That's why it is important to have this. Now, I could have created a test only for this class and make sure that I can create a user, and then I can when I load the friends 4, that user will not be, and indeed I have to create those tests, but I'm just trying to delay this decision to actually start working on that test because I don't still have all the implement. I don't know, maybe I'll need something more later on. Of course I can add that later as well, but for now I don't have a need for that contract, and then I can delay this decision to start working on a contract test as long as I haven't started working on the implementation that talks to real backend. So when that time comes, I'll emerge the contract test. So that's why now I have, just because no matter whether I have these tests here or somewhere else, the behavior that I'm trying to catch is the same. So the behavior is written here, actually. It is caught here. So when I'm loaded multiple friends, excluding signed up user, actually now the test doesn't make sense. The test name, I should rename this test because it is not telling me truth, because it says loaded multiple friends. Loaded no friends. When using the signed up user ID, something like that. Exactly. Now, so I've got that behavior here in this test, and probably I'll have to catch the same thing here, because I think we are gonna talk more into details when I'll be emerging these contract tests, but the idea being that every implementation of the user catalog will have to behave the same. In order to be able to do that, we need a contract test so that we can make sure that any implementation of the user catalog will behave the same as this test double that actually serves now all my business logic. More on that later, as I said, when we will be actually working on those contract tests, but maybe a little introduction now. I think I've recorded a bunch of series before and I have included contract tests. You can go there and find more, but for now I think that's something that should be clear. And now let's check this in. So what I would say is, oh, by the way, I've updated the Android Studio to Bumblebee, I think it is named now. So yeah, let's see how that's gonna work as well. So can exclude the signed up user from the friends list. And now if I remove this test should start working again. But as I said, I have updated the studio, and now if I try to run, it is not recognizing this as a test case, interestingly. So even if I right click, as you can see here, we don't see that I can run. It's not seeing this as a test. So what I can do is I can select my UI test from my actually running configuration, and then okay, select the UI tests and then run. Let's see what's happening if I just disable the okay, let's go back to presentation mode. So now it is running, as we can see on the right side here. Let me see if I can display the window that shows the tests being run. That's unfortunate. It says running, 23 tests passed, but we didn't see a thing. So let me show the emulator. Let me see what happens if I go to presentation mode. It's hidden. Yeah, now it works. Okay. Yeah, as I said, there are glitches for the new version of the Android Studio. It said that 24 tests passed. Let's rerun again to actually see them working. And as we can see now, the two tests that we are having from the friend screen are working. And if some of the other ones are not, as we saw previously, might be because of flakiness, or maybe because the way that this new studio is running the UI tests, like this one for example. But nevertheless, I think it's something that we'll have to address, and we will, but not in this particular episode. Usually those are these ones that are showing backend error, which is that if you remember, when we were working on that, we have a composable that uses launch effect, that internally it has a coroutine that shows and hides, and that's something that breaks the things. But also I've learning some things about Compose lately, and I also think I mentioned the previous episode that would like to cover a little bit more on saving state, so that we will be safe for process that and that kind of things. So when we will be working on that, probably we'll go and revisit the previous composables. But for now, I think for this screen that we are working on, the friend screen, we are gonna do that at the first, like from scratch. So if you noticed, friends screen, here we are already trying a little different way of storing the state, which is actually we haven't started doing anything in terms of, yeah, I think I only mentioned the remember savable, and also like we can maybe leverage the use of save state handle. I think I mentioned those two in the previous episode. We haven't done yet anything, but we'll continue in that direction, so we'll see how that's gonna go. Anyway, let me first see what we got here. We can check this in, remove the ignored, put back the ignored test case. Actually, that was not a test case, rather it was a test. Ignored UI test. And now let's see how we are gonna proceed. So here we say if the friends list is loaded, then show the friends state. Here we have a composable, which is friends list, where we can say we are passing friends and modifier. We are not using this modifier, so let's actually make use of it. So we say if the friends list is empty, then we put a text with string resource equals there are no friends available yet. That's good. Otherwise, we have a lazy column. Okay, that has items inside, and we are just displaying text. Now we have to work a little bit on this composable to see how we are gonna be presenting the friends, which things of the friends, at least from the information that we have at this moment, we are gonna show, and also how we are gonna proceed with the other states. Like for example, what about loading? What about the error states? Those kind of things. So let's see what we have in the timeline screen. Okay, I think this makes sense. So basically, what I'm trying to look at is about this modifier. So basically, here in order to be able to, how do I want to manipulate this friends list? So that's why I'm passing this modifier here. So which things I want to be able to manipulate. So I can wrap this into a, let's say, a box, and then put the entire thing inside. So then I'll be able to manipulate this box. Or I can come up with something else. I think box gonna be enough. So I can say box, for example, or I can let the lazy column be something like modifier is fill max size. I think I have the same in the timeline screen. Oh, if I closed it. Indeed, and then I'm only manipulating the empty state with a modifier. I don't think it's the right thing to do. So I can either remove this modifier, or yeah, I think for now I can just Actually, let's do the same that we have done. The same thing that we've done in the timeline. So I think this one is not, if I run the application, is not centered, so we can exactly, it's a little bit on the left. So now if I pass here the modifier friends list, this is yeah, we use a line. And this is friends. It looks like some import is now missing. Let me see. Let me take this, paste it here, so it's gonna do the import. What does it say? We had pretty much the same thing. I don't know why this align is not being box scope. Okay, this is box. Do we have box here? No, we don't. That's why. So I'm thinking whether I should do this one a box, pass the modifier here, but then it's gonna be for the whole thing, and then here I can say the modifier that is going to be a box scope or something. I don't remember the syntax, but it was possible to say, okay, give me a modifier, but that is matching only the box scope. That's how this check is done here. Okay, let's actually delete all these. So change the signature of the function, remove. Continue. And then say here modifier equals remove the modifier completely and see how it is going to look. So if I just go ahead and select the application and run it, and then how do we move it? We can say modifier equals modifier fill max width, and then text align center. And now it should work, I think. and it does. So that's nice. At least we have removed the complexity of the modifier for now. I think it's a good practice to just pass the modifier to any custom composable that you have. But the thing is that here I have this if else, and one way could be to actually wrap all of this if else into a composable, let's say a column or a box or something, and then manipulate that through that modifier that I'm gonna be passing here. That's one option. Another option is to have it like this. So yeah, there are a variety of options. I think for now I don't have much evidence that I'll need to do that. So let's just keep it as it is for now. Another thing, let's just commit this first. What I'll say is remove the modifier from the friends list. Composable. Yeah, and another thing that I wanted to do here is I also need to, like, now this is lazy column, which means it is scrollable thing. We want to also be able to remember the state of this list, the scrolled state. So for example, imagine that we have, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 friends, and then we scroll till, let's say, to the 6th item, and then we rotate the screen, or like yeah, the application was killed, we get back. I think we want to restore from the same position. So I think to do that, there is something like remember scroll state. Something like this, but we have to learn how to use this. I don't remember the syntax, I just know it is there. So it says I think some imports are missing now. Or maybe like, yeah. And then here we would be able to say scroll items. Let me see, modifier state, remember lazily state, modifier, and then scroll, well, state, or state is scroll state. Okay, so it works differently then. I think remember lazily state. Okay, maybe this is something that it does automatically, so I don't have to. Yeah, we'll investigate a little bit more. For now I'll just leave it like this. But what I wanted to do also is so let's put in our to-do list remember the scroll state, save state, save the general screen state, and yeah, for now that's kind of enough to put in the to-do list. Let's see where we are with the test. So we have, let's maybe pull this out. As data here. Make all of these private. What we have, show available friends. And then Yeah, I think now maybe we can write a test where we'll say fun shows required friend required friend user friend data. Yeah, some information or required friend information. So let's start with a launch friend screen using the rule, then do no operation, and then verify that a friend data friend information is shown for, let's say, friend Anna, and then this should be replace user catalog with in-memory user catalog users, and then this one will check whether we show the data that we want to. So let's say rule on node with text friend user ID check, well, assert is displayed, then rule on node with text friend user email. I don't know whether we should check the email, show the email or not. That's interesting. If we had an avatar, would have been nice to show the avatar, but I don't think we can check the correctness of the avatar in a test because it will just load from network, let's say. I don't know how this composable will look like. I don't know whether I want to show the email or not. Well, then maybe yeah. I think it's a little bit too much. Let's don't show the email. Let's just show the ID and the about. If there is an about, assert is displayed, and then we have to make sure that the user has an about, and also I think, yeah, how does it gonna look if the friend if this friend actually is we are following or the user is following us. So what we have now is follower. So when the user is follower, we should show the button should be like this. If it is a follower, we have to, and if we don't follow them, we have to actually also include that information in the business logic. Let's write that down. Include information for is followee, not only is follower. So then we will be able to say in the button something like follow back if the user is following us, so we can, and we are not following them, we can say follow back, otherwise just follow, and those kind of things. Let's see. friend Anna, friend Anna, friend Anna. Anna has something about Anna. And then since there is this is false, we should also see a required friend information. Rule on node with text follow assert is displayed. Yes, I think let's create this, create property, well, create local variable, and the follow is going to be the rule activity get string r string follow, create string value follow. Okay, now it's too bad I cannot run this test only. Oh, now it did run. Friend screen test, I think. Good job, Android Studio. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And of course, we are not showing this information. Let's watch and see why did it fail. So it failed saying node expected something about Anna, but was not found. Now let's go back to our composable and see, instead of text here, which should say friend item and then pass the friend. So then we are gonna be working on this composable, create composable that will take friend, and here make it private because it's used in this screen only. It's gonna take friend, and then let's see. So how we are gonna be representing this? I think on the left side it's gonna be a row. Modifier equals fill max size, well, fill max width. Then on the left side we are gonna have a column that's gonna have weight 1, and then in the column we are gonna have text that's gonna have the text friend user ID, and then below it I'm gonna have a text friend user about. I want a little space between, let's say 8 dp. It's gonna be height 8 dp, something like that. And then on the right side I'm gonna have a outline button. On click for now I'm not gonna have anything, and then the text will be I think for now just hard code follow, string resource or string, something like that. I'll have to have some logic based on, like later on, as I said, when we'll introduce this ability to see whether we are also following and whether the friend is actually following us. So based on that we'll have to change the text to something like, I don't know, follow back, follow, that kind of things. For now, we are just gonna have follow, and if we are following them, we should, let's say, be able to say unfollow. But for now, we don't have that information, I think. Whether we are following somebody, we only have the information whether they are following us, so we can say follow or follow back. And I think we can already write the logic, but let's go step by step. And maybe here also add some padding, something like, let's say, 16 dp. And maybe it would be nice to actually have this, as in the timeline we have this rounded border around the thing that is the list item. Would like to do something similar here. So let's see what we have here. You have post lists, and you have post item, and it has box which has this border actually. So maybe let's take that and do the same. So let's first run the test, see if it's gonna work, and then we can work a little bit on the cosmetics. Yeah, for now it's not, it will be hard to distinguish what's the list. What's missing here? Failed to perform is display check. 2 nodes that satisfy. Okay, now we have 2 buttons that are satisfying. Okay, then maybe in this test, users first. No. Let's make it explicit. Shows required friends information. So friend Anna, because we are saying verify that the friend information is shown for friend. Let's rename this. Name it for friend Anna, and here we're gonna say list of member user catalog. What are the users? So we are only gonna include Anna. Extract this into variable, and we're gonna say users. So now the users, we can see in this test explicitly that the users is just Anna, and then we are replacing the catalog with that, with the list of only Anna, and then we try to see whether that information is being shown. Let's run and see whether this is gonna work, and then we can okay, now the other test is failing. What does it say? There are no friends available yet. I think this is now interesting. I think it should work. Because between the tests we have this tier down that replaces and clears up the things. Yeah. I don't know how to fight this flakiness now. But let's check this in first. So now we have friend composable. Show more information about the friend in the list. And as I said, now maybe let's look into a little bit of the cosmetics, and then we can also see how we can address the functionality when the user is follower. Now we have only false false. What if it is a follower? We can say follow back. Okay, so now we have this row. If we take a look in the timeline, we can just take this, I think. Put it here and see what it has. Okay, yeah, so to be able to manipulate that if you want to. And how is this being manipulated from here? It's not. Okay, I think we can just, yeah, for if you want to look into the future, we can say, okay, we can say we can pass a modifier here. We can take a modifier that we are gonna say something like modifier equals modifier. As I said, it is a good practice to take a modifier and then apply it at the root here, so then we'll be able to manipulate this composable through this modifier, like the size, those kind of things, because the root here is box. I think we spoke about that a little bit before. Yeah, for now I think I don't need this, but yeah, because it's a good practice, let's keep it. So we are gonna have the two examples here. It is like when we pass the modifier and we have the root, and here we are not passing the modifier. Yeah, so the two examples are living here. Maybe we'll revisit this here, but let's go line by line here and see what we have. So we have a box, then we clip using the rounded corner shape, and then the corner is the radius is gonna be 16 dp. We're gonna fill the max width, and then we put a border, just as we do in the timeline for the content. Then we can move this row inside, and now this row, instead of fill max width, we can say fill max size. Let's see how that's gonna look. Okay, we just need a little space between them. That's good. Let's add a little space between them. So we are gonna have height. Let's say I think 16 dp. All right. Now it should look better. Yeah. Oh, it looks nice. We couldn't really see anything if I just run like this, because I need. Let me actually try test friends.com, sign up. Then if I go and create one more account, and if I go into the friends, I should see these other items. I think we can align I can follow them and I can align this button a little bit. So this button should be actually not the alignment of the button but of the row. Vertical alignment should be vertical alignment, center vertically. Yeah, and I think I shouldn't have run all the tests. Okay, now there are 3, it's fine, but I should check all the tests now, run all of them, commit, and also try this manually to see if everything looks nicer. Now if I run, create an account, close, then create another account. And if I go to friends, I should see that this is not clickable. Follow button that doesn't do anything for now. Great. I think this is lovely. This is nice. Okay, let's see where we are. We have a spacer. We have the friend composable got made the friend item appearance nicer in the list, in the friends list. That's about it. Let me see. So we've done a commit, we've checked the tests. Yeah, only missing is all the tests. Let's make sure all of them are running well and we didn't break things. I think we didn't, because anyway we were working on isolated friend screen test. We did not affect anything else. We did not refactor. So yeah, everything should be fine. Maybe this flaky test that I mentioned before, that might be due to several reasons. But yeah, in general, I think this is good start, I would say. We didn't do much, but we have plenty of things now to do in the friend screen. So what happens when we have the following, when we have different following, follower, followee situation, how to act on those buttons, like for example follow or unfollow or follow back. Yeah, we have to work with those. Maybe let's write that in the to do. Yeah, so I think those are just nicer functionalities to have, and also we have to take in consideration the states, which is very important. So we also have to work on the error states, the loading. I said that we want to, instead of showing the blocking loading, we want to show just the regular material pull to refresh loading, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think plenty of things related to Jetpack Compose. But for now, I think we have we're 55 minutes in. I think we are gonna just stop this episode and we'll continue in the next one. This is really good start, if you ask me. I think I'm pretty happy with what we got for now, and we have a good place where to start and how to proceed forward. Let's just check lastly the to-do. So include information for is followee, follow back, unfollow, actions. the states, then show loading, show error states. So maybe show loading and show error states are something that we want to work on first, just to make sure to complete how we are gonna be shaping the state, how we are gonna be presenting and everything. It's gonna make it easier for us to then think about the scroll state or the general screen state. So I think the scroll state is something that is being handled automatically, but I'm not certain. I don't know that, so I have to check, and then I'll inform in the next episodes. So yeah, I think that's about it. So I'm just gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much for the time and attention. I'll make sure to catch you in the next episode. So yeah, cheers.